This is Dolynny TV, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another edition of Edmonton Oilers discussion here on the channel this afternoon. A fine Monday afternoon on a long weekend, man. A short work week coming up after a long weekend down there at Big Valley Jamboree in Camrose, Alberta this weekend. What a beautiful time, guys. If you're looking for a review, I'm not going to do a whole video on it. I'll give you this little tidbit right here. Brett Kissel 100% stole the show. That's all you need to know. Brooks and Dunn was good. Everybody else was all right except Toby Keith. However, Brett Kissel, 100%, the Alberta boy, closest to home out of any of them, stole that show all weekend. So, guys, without further ado, let's get back on track here. I've gone, since Friday, Saturday, Sunday without a video. So where did we sit? Well, what did we miss? We missed the Jesse Puljujarvi news. Guys, I don't know how you call that news. It's the same. Honestly, this is literally Jesse Puljujarvi saying what the Oilers were saying. All together. But we don't need to go explain that for 10 minutes. You know where we sit. We're still comfortable letting Jesse play in Europe for a year or two or whatever, however long we hold his rights before we trade him. And of course, we're still looking to trade him if we can find a good package. Nothing's changed. Yes has just opened his mouth again. Luckily this time, not his agent. So guys, without further ado, what I want to do today is I want to take a look at somebody we've long rumored and long talked about and kind of looked at briefly. And now it's starting to get to those dog days of summer, as the Oilers pointed out on August 1st. We're, 26 days from the start of September, guys. That's when things get really good for us as Oilers fans, right? All of a sudden, beginning of the month, right around, you get the rookie camps opening up. Then there's the game in Red Deer, game in Calgary I'm hoping to go to. And we're going to have a lot of fun when this hockey season opens up. But for right now, there's still a couple of roster pieces that need to be taken care of. And when it comes to the Edmonton Oilers, I think what everybody kind of agrees, as much as the defense might be an issue, not an issue, whatever you want to look at, the big question mark is who's going to fill out that third line center role. As it stands right now, we've got Sam Gagner, we've got Jujhar Khaira, we've got Marcus Granlund, and a couple other guys in there really in the mix for that third line center role. However, if you're an Oilers fan, if you're a non-Oilers fan, we all kind of sit there and question if those 3 or 4 or 5 guys that could possibly fill that third line center role, are they really the guy that's going to be that two-punch behind Connor McDavid, right? Obviously, you've got the one punch when Ryan Nugent-Hopkins or Leon Draisaitl, whoever you don't have on McDavid's wing, and then you've got the two-punch on that third line, and who's that going to be? Well, the question mark is exactly that, and I think everyone's kind of starting to point towards a guy who's unsigned as of still in Derick Brassard. Guys, this is a name we've mentioned a million times. Probably mentioned him in a couple other videos. However, you look at him over the past few years and you kind of start questioning if he's really going to be any bit of a solution for the Edmonton Oilers when it comes to getting him on that third line. And I mean, that's a fair thing, but you got to take a look at how this plays out. So let's get Derick Brassard's stats in here for you, and let's get going on him and see if we can kind of look at what judging Derick Brassard would do well for the Oilers. Let me get that open. And where is my Derick Brassard stats? There you go. Bang. And open. And perfect. That's what we want. We want those right there. And I'll just bring those down a little bit. Bang. Let's go. So, Derick Brassard stats. I can barely read those myself. Almost feel like I should make it full screen. In fact, I will right now. I'll just go enlarge those to the full screen as they stand. So Derick Brassard, guys, this is real simple. Started his career in Columbus, played there for a lot of years, got traded to the New York Rangers. He was always a constant, at least 25-point player up till that point, and then started really getting up over, 45 points for a lot of years. Had a down year in Ottawa in 16-17, and then all of a sudden found himself in Pittsburgh. Then went from Pittsburgh, Florida, Colorado this past year and really hit the schneid quite a bit. But when you're finding yourself in 3 different cities in the matter of a year, you're going to start having some issues with production. So Derick Brassard, career-wise, 12 years in the NHL, has put up 451 points, So if you do an 82 CPA calculation on that, really easy. You go 451 divided by 786, times that by 82, and you've got yourself that Derick Brassard over his career, yes, he dipped this past year, but over his career, he's been over a 45 point per 82 game season player. Hats off, right? There you go. So maybe you rekindle some magic, but the question is, how much rekindling of the magic can the Oilers really rely on when it comes to trying to solve their holes in their lineup, right? You've got Mike Smith in there. You've got guys from last year's roster that need to rekindle some magic as well, right? You think about Adam Larson. If you have another bad year, guys, we're going to be selling 10 cents on the dime kind of deal, but it is what it is at the NHL level when players don't pan out. But you kind of look at where I'm coming from, right? There's guys all up and down this lineup who need to find a role, need to find that big target and shoot for it and hit it. Not just shoot for it, but actually hit it. And Derick Brassard, if you add him into the mix on a PTO, could absolutely be one of those guys, right? And that's the magic word right there, PTO. Derick Brassard, I don't think comes to Edmonton unless he comes on a PTO. We have $2.4 million in cap space right now. So heaven forbid an injury happens, you need to have that cap space a little bit available. If you need to start somebody on the injured reserve for a couple of days to start the season, you need that cap available to call somebody else up. So as it sits right now, the Oilers cap space, as I said, at $2.4 million, well, that's sketchy. So that PTO is important for them for sure. And you look at Jesse Puljujarvi, the only unsigned player for the Oilers at this point, as to kind of come full circle. Don't need to worry about him. Hopefully play him in a full year in Europe. But there's still a couple of situations that the Oilers need to take care of, namely in Kyle Brodziak, namely in Brandon Manning, right? Those are two names the Oilers desperately need to knock off the list of roster players on that Oilers NHL 50. So, Derick Brassard, what does he add? Well, he would add that veteran leadership on that third line, kind of what Kyle Brodziak was supposed to add in, that's for sure. And Derick Brassard, guys, this is the interesting part on him. He's 31 years old. He'll be 32 this year. So why wouldn't you want to take somebody who's been around a lot of teams over his career, right? Columbus, New York, Ottawa, Pittsburgh, Florida, Colorado. That's a lot of different teams in a lot of different years. And bring him to the Oilers, try and find him a role and get him in there and get him going, right? Obviously, get Derick Brassard back to his old self and get him performing somewhat up to snuff, and suddenly you might get yourself another Alex Chiasson kind of PTO, right? The question is, if you're coming on a PTO and you're Derick Brassard, are you choosing Edmonton, or are you playing on that PTO like, was it Troy Brouwer? I think it was Troy Brouwer who went down to Calgary after playing on a PTO for us, or somebody played on Calgary for a PTO, or played for us on a PTO and went to Calgary. Guys, so many guys have come and gone. Don't hassle me on that one, but you understand where I'm coming from, right? If you're Derick Brassard, are you coming to Edmonton to earn a contract in Edmonton, or are you coming to Edmonton to earn a contract somewhere else? And that's the play that, I think a lot of NHL players are going to end up doing this year, is you may go to camp for somebody, but you'll sign somewhere else. And I'd bet probably 3 to 5 guys do that across the NHL this year on PTOs. I wouldn't be surprised, but hey, who knows what ends up happening, right? If you sign Derick Brassard after a PTO, it could be very, very proficient for yourself, right? Especially, you trade Brandon Manning or you trade Kyle Brodziak, suddenly you have that $1.5 million in cap space you can use to sign Derick Brassard and get him into the team and get him on that third line center role. Problem is, does he fit? Well, who knows, guys. We have no clue if 8 of the 14 possible new Oilers up front we're going to have fit at all. So, right? We're going to have a fun camp, and that's exactly what I said. I cannot wait for it to be the September 1st, and we start getting our taste of Oilers hockey for the 2019-2020 season under Ken Holland and Dave Tippett. Guys, I'm Tyson, this is Dolynny TV. What I want you to do is head down to that comment section. Give me your thoughts on today's video, today's topic. Not even today's video, today's topic. that being Derick Brassard. Guys, I'm going to go catch some naps because I am dead tired after Big Valley Jamboree. I don't know what else to say. I'm up on out of here.